You watch Gina play. I don't think New Zealand knows just how much we're going to miss her until she retires.
This season, Tiana has averaged nearly 13 shots a game. Tapaya has averaged 19 shots a game.
Mila, she's a tough battler.
The thing about Maddie, she's effective as you want in any one of those three positions.
I can see Karen Berger just shutting down Watson. Boom, I'd put her there. I'd probably go with Amorangi. Amorangi has really stepped up.
Sokolic beats them. If one of those defenders got injured, I just think that should cause them a bit of stress on the court.
Nau mai ki te hōtaka o te neti poro Kiwi. I'm Bridget Tunnicliffe. Well, it's that time of the netball season when anticipation ramps up. Every fan becomes a selector and we all feel we have a stake in it. Talking about World Cup selection, 7th of June, Dame Nolene Taurua will reveal her Silver Ferns World Cup team. To help me make an educated guess about who might make that final 12 are former Silver Fern and international umpire Joan Hodson and New Zealand men's coach Dion. Kia ora, koroa. First though, we're going to preview the Sunday's ANZ Premiership All-Auckland Grand Final, Mystics v Stars. Stars got there after beating the Pulse in the elimination final. Joan, Mystics on paper, favourites?
Yeah, absolutely. Kia ora te whānau. I'm a Mystics girl through and through, but also I really like the Stars and what they did to the Pulse last weekend. But yeah, I think Mystics are favourites.
Dion, Mystics favourites, but Stars capable?
I think the Stars are very capable, and I always sort of feel that the team that goes into a final that's had a really hard semi-finals sort of better prepared than the other team. That's just my theory, so we'll see how that plays out.
Dion, what do you think the key is for the Stars if they want to beat the Mystics? Amarangi Malisala put up 17 goals against the Pulse. I think she's probably going to need to put up around 20 goals this Sunday if they've got a chance.
Yeah, even if she's around that 15 to 18 sort of mark, but if she's hitting a high percentage of her shots, which she did last time against the Mystics, I think that'll help. I also think if whoever's playing wing defence just sits on Toiava and just breaks that flow, that'll go a long way to helping as well. But it's going to be, I think it'll be a shot for shot game. Just like there was what we saw on Sunday against the Pulse. Yeah,
I think it could be really close. Joan, I wonder if the Mystics are slightly vulnerable, obviously not having Monica Faulkner. She's recently announced her pregnancy. I mean, if Filda Vui is struggling, they would have to go to training partner Danny Binks. Yeah, a little bit of a vulnerability for them.
Yeah, I guess so, but Filda's been playing awesome. I really back her so much that I'd like to, see her in that World Cup squad. Definitely very capable and she can shoot from anywhere. It's just the connection that they both have with Toiava, what it comes down to. And Taylor Earl has been feeding both of them really well. So, yeah, hands down the Mystics could, win by 20. But, the Stars, man, they're just playing out of their skin and they won't let them go so easily.
Yeah, the Stars, you can just tell they're full of belief, aren't they? I think they've missed out twice in two previous grand finals. Could this be the one? I'm glad that the Mystics aren't completely unstoppable. Like before Grace got injured last year, I don't think the Mystics dropped a single game when she was in the team. This year they've been beaten, I think, 4 times. So I'm glad. I don't really want one team just winning game after game after game. So it's still tough to beat them. It really is. But yeah, I think it's doable. Yeah. Look forward to the grand final. Also, I asked you guys to think about who is your ANZ Premiership MVP of the season. Dion, who do you think's been the standout player this year?
I'm going for Karen Berger from the Tactics. I just think she's put in a huge shift this year. I think it's been her real breakout year. I think she's been able to really play more of her own game with Jane sitting at the back again. And even when Jane hasn't been on the court, she's still held up her end of the bargain for the team. And so I just think overall this year's been just huge for her.
Yep, me too. I reckon Karen Berger as well. She was actually ANZ Premiership Player of the Year back in 2021. So, yeah, how good is she? Joan, who is it for you?
Yeah, hard to go past Karen Berger. I really like Bailey Mes this year. I think because, watching her over the years and how there've been times where she's struggled, I was so impressed with the way that she played this year. Her and Amelia Ann, man, they, once they got it clicking, they were pretty much unstoppable. But, Grace is still right up there for me. But, yeah, you can't go past Karen Berger in the year that she's had.
Yeah, honourable mentions. Grace Whetu, she's always going to be sort of a top contender, isn't she? Maddie Gordon, yeah, Bailey Mes has been great as well. Okay, let's go to World Cup selections. Next Wednesday, Dame Noeline Taurua will reveal her World Cup team. I've asked you to pick your 12 plus 3 reserves. For me, aside from 2 mid-court positions, the World Cup 12 is pretty straightforward. I mean, that's in my mind anyway. So there are 10 positions I'm confident on, but those other 2 mid-court positions I think are a nightmare trying to figure out who they are. So I'm going to start with the shooting end. Mine are Grace Wiki, Maya Wilson, Meliran Ignacio, and Tapaya Selby-Rickett. Dion, who have you got?
Yes, I've got Grace Nweki, Ignacio, Tapaya, and Maya Wilson.
Joan?
Oh, I'd like to have a change with Tapaya instead of Tapaya. I'd like to take, for me, it'll be Filda or Tiana.
Cool. Let's just go to Grace and Amelia Ann. For me, they're the starting goal shoot, goal attack combination because they are simply the best, in the words of Tina Turner. Yep, Grace and Amelia Ann, you're starting goal shoot, goal attack. Maya Wilson, because she's basically done everything that would have been asked of her. She's had her most accurate season and she's had good volume. She's only second to Grace in volume. She's kind of ticked all the boxes. 4th shooter spot before Bailey Mes's retirement announcement was probably going to come down, I think, between Bailey Mes and Tapaya Selby-Rickett. Yeah, Bailey Mes, on top of the power and athleticism, has got agility and suppleness to die for. I don't think I've ever seen anyone move on the netball court quite like she does. Dion, I'm just going to miss watching her play.
She was in my top 4, hands down. And, it's a real shame. I mean, good on her for bowing out, probably the best ANZ season she's had to date. I just think she would have been a real asset to take away to the World Cup.
I do think at the back of the mind, though, last year's Commonwealth Games, Bailey against Ireland got 5 out of 13. And then we only saw her shoot again 1 quarter against Trinidad and Tobago. So I do think that would be in the back of the mind of the selectors. But she has been picked on lesser form than what we've seen from her this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's quite interesting. Anyway, I digress. I'm picking Tapaya Selby-Rickett ahead of Tiana. For the past 18 months, Noeline Taurua has consistently been saying that she needs goal attacks that don't hesitate going to the post and can put up 20 shots in a game. This season, Tiana has averaged 12.75 shots a game, so we'll round that up to 13 shots a game. Tapaya has averaged 19 shots a game. But Joan, you see other qualities in Tiana Matura. Obviously, she really looks after her goal shoots, doesn't she?
She feeds really well. However, I have to agree with what you've just said about where she's at in terms of her volume of goals. However, I'd stick Filda right up there. She's, against her and Tapaya, just in terms of volume, and she can shoot from everywhere. I mean, she was picked in one of the Silver Ferns teams before Tapaya because that's what she did at the trials, was that she shot from anywhere. And also, not many people know how she plays. Dark horse, I'd definitely put her in. And also she's amazing with Grace because they played so much together, even in age groups. So, yeah, she'd be my dark horse, probably in front of Tiana.
Okay, keep an eye out for Filda as a potential bolter. Okay, let's go to the defensive end because I'm putting off the mid-court. Let's do something a little bit easier first. Jane Watson, Kelly Jury, Karen Berger, Phoenix, Karaka. Dion, who have you got?
Yeah, tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joan,
Nothing more to be said.
yeah, Joan, who have you got?
Yeah, exactly the same.
Tick, 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 tick. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Jane Watson and Kartenberger, obvious, simply the best. Phoenix, Karaka's had a really good season. She's experienced in a good contrast to Karten at goal defence. You know, it was probably either going to come down between Sulu Fitzpatrick and Kelly Jury. Jury's been great again this season. Tops the defensive rebounds, deflections, second for intercepts. Got that extra height lean over the shot. It'd be very hard to go past Kelly Jury. Okay, that was quick. Mid-court. We need a lot of time for the mid-court. I'm just going to start with my two certainties. Gina Crampton, your wing attack. Kate Heffernan, she's brilliant. X Factor, can get intercepts in the mid-court. Dion, do you want to tell me your mid-court?
Those two are definite. So you watch Gina play, and I know I go on about her, but I don't think New Zealand knows just how much we're going to miss her until she retires. But yeah, Gina and Kate are definites. I've got Gordon and Souness to round out my four.
Cool. Joan, who are your four?
I reckon that, with not going past any of those other amazing mid-quarters, but I reckon Gina, Kate and Maddie are the top three in the mid-court. Maddie's just had so many MVPs.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard for the selectors to go past her. And also she can play all three positions, which is, Kate doesn't. She plays those two centre wing defence. Maddie plays centre wing defence and wing attack. And Gina, is our specialist wing attack. Yeah, I was looking at Whitney too, but I don't know, Mila is just playing out of her freaking skin this year, and she's a tough battler. You know, it's going to be hard. You know, I'd love to see Mila and Maddie kind of cancelled each other out, but I think Mila is meaner. However, my pick would have to be Peta Tuiava, especially if you've got Grace there. She's got to be, fed really well, and no one else can do that better than Peta Tuiava. So my four will be Gina, Kate, Maddie, and
Peta.
Well, I'm sitting on the fence between.
Oh no, I totally understand. Yeah, when it came down to my fourth mid-court selection, it was blimmin' hard, and I might change my mind in a couple of days. Yeah, but I'll go through my thought process. So we all agree Gina, Crampton, Kay Heffernan. So the list that I started with to try and whittle down the remaining two mid-court positions. We've got Maddie Gordon, Whitney Souness, Sam Winders, Michaela Sokolich-Beatson, Mila Riley Buchanan, Peta Tuiava, Camilla Rotapoi, Claire Kirsten. So that's 8. I've got to squeeze into 2, right? Then it's a process of deduction. First name I crossed out, Camilla Rotapoi. She's really kind of been out of favour, hasn't she, for a couple of years now, and splitting her time between centre and wing attack this season hasn't helped. So no, scratched. I don't think Claire Kirsten, she is Mrs. Reliable, but if you're going to pick a wing defence centre, you'd go with Sam Winders because she's just got that X factor and she can get the most unlikely of intercepts. Then I come to the question of would the selectors name 2 specialist wing attacks? Jess Thirlby, England coach, has done that, but then she's a shooter light. Yeah, Dion, I just think it's hard to justify naming Peta Tuiava as well, given that's the only position she plays. That's kind of where I landed.
Yes, specialist wing attack and Gina. As Joan says, Kate's got that sort of, if needed, wing D slide centre, that added extra height. Maddie can, and these are my reasoning, Maddie can cover all 3 positions. Whitney can cover that centre wing attack slide. And then I've got, are we talking about our 3 reserves yet or not just yet?
Not yet. Hold your horses.
Okay, all right.
I agree with you, Dion, with that Whitney instead of Tuiava, because she does have that extra centre wing attack position.
And I think...
But then so does Mila. Mila can do that too, but, she's probably one of the strongest centres in that mid-court lineup.
Mila's been amazing, absolutely amazing. I'll talk further about that soon.
now I've said no to Petter because I don't think you can justify it. Then I've come to you just talking about Mila really Buchanan has had a great season, works really well with Gina Crampton. But then I ask myself, I compare her to Maddie Gordon, who has all those things, but she also gets unbelievable intercepts. So that's why I'm scratching Mila.
Yeah, and also she's got that extra position, Maddie. Like she's got those 3 positions she covers.
Yeah. So that leaves me with 4. And then my big question is, if Nolene wants Berger at goal defence and Heffernan at centre in a semi-final or final versus Australia, who gets a job of wing defence? That person has to be good enough to negate Liz Watson, the best wing attack in the world. Maybe I'm overthinking that one scenario, but the 3 people I think might be able to do that are Maddie Gordon, Sam Winders, Michaela Soklich-Beatson. Winders is proven international level at wing defence. She has gotten the better of Liz Watson. That's a big tick. Maddie Gordon, I think she might have played a quarter here and there at wing defence when she was first named in the Ferns, but not really tested there. I think Michaela Soklich-Beatson has had a brilliant season. But with the defensive end that we've got, they can take care of goal defence. We've got Karenberger, Phoenix Karaka, even Jane Watson is great at goal defence. So I don't think we can justify picking Michaela to just cover wing defence. So that's why I'm scratching Soklich-Beatson. That leaves me with Maddie Gordon, Whitney Souness and Sam Winders. And like the 2 of you, I can't go past Maddie Gordon. And Dion, I think people keep saying, she's working on her attacking game, but people are forgetting she had her breakout season for the Pulse back in 2020 as a wing attack, which led her to her first Silver Ferns call-up. So I'm not really concerned about her attacking game at all.
The thing about Maddie, she's effective as you want in any one of those 3 positions. I don't know if you watched her when she played for the mixed team during that Cadbury series last year. Her feeding was sublime, and then she's just carried on since then.
Joan, she's just the sort of player that you just have so much faith in because she just passes every test.
Oh, she's so reliable. She's fit. She's just what you need in the centre. I mean, what you just said about her being wing attack in her breakout season into the Silver Ferns. No, she's always been in my top 3 for the mid-court. So, yeah. But looking at the defence stuff, I can see Karen Berger just shutting down Watson. Boom, I'd put her there. Yeah, I'd rather see her there and a bit more height in the circle.
I'm kind of leaning to what Joan's saying. Like, so, for instance, if you look at the game that the Tactics played against the Mystics, the Tactics are in the hole and they simply moved Curran over to wing defence, and I think they pulled the game back to pretty much even. And they were in the hole about 6 or 7 goals from memory. They slid Curran over to wing D, and I think within a quarter they were nearly back even. And that's just the effect she can have at wing defence.
Yeah, the Curran effect. Yeah.
I mean, I am slightly biased, but you know.
Well, if we could clone her, she could play wing defence and goal defence. Okay, so I think what I landed on after the process of deduction has come down to Whitney Souness and Sam Winders for the final mid-court position. And I might even change my mind in the next couple of days because I'm a massive fan of Sam Winders. But I guess I wondered if you add Sam Winders to the side, it's very defensive mid-court. We've already got wing defence centre options. So, for balance, I'm going Souness. So, Dion, we've got the same mid-court too. Gina, Kate, Gordon, Souness.
Yeah.
And we know that Nolene Taura is a fan of Souness.
Yes. And, Whitney's just gone about... there was one game where she was a bit off, but she's just gone about her business. And I guess if I said a while ago about, pairings and stuff like that, I can't see them both starting. Like if we were to talk a final, I can't see them starting.
Okay, let's go to the reserves. I guess the obvious one is Tiana Maturo because she's the only other shooter in the country, I think, who hasn't retired, who has Silver Ferns experience. But I wonder if they might go for someone like Amarangi Malaisala or Georgia Heffernan because they've gone to the post more often. Dion, have you got someone in mind for your reserve shooter?
I've got Amarangi Malaisala because she has, it's become evident last year that she needed to put shots up, and this year she has put shots up, and she's been pretty accurate. under some pretty heavy fire. So that's
Yeah.
why
Yeah, I agree. I think Amarangi's Malasala might jump in there ahead of Te Anau Tuaro because she's been prepared to go to the post. Joan, who would you go with?
I really agree. Amorangi has been freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I just have loved watching her. And, I always think there's times where she's going to miss, but she doesn't. She just nails it. She is worth her weight in gold, that woman. So, yeah, she would, between her and Fulden, she's been the strongest goal attack. But, it'll be interesting to see how they go this weekend. And I hope Fulda stands up. But Amorangi has stood up, in many games and, has been the clinch pin for the Stars. Maya has just been incredible and accurate as well. But, yeah, Amorangi has really stepped up. So, yeah, I'd probably go with Amorangi and, also I'd say a prayer for Fulda.
Yep. Yeah. So mid-court cover, Dion, we both didn't include Peta in our starting mid-court. And so my first thought, was, if Gina Crampton gets a tournament-ending injury, then I thought I'd take Peta Tuiava because she could go in for Gina. But then I thought Peta can really only cover wing attacks. I thought maybe that's not the best option. So I've gone with someone flexible, and I've gone Sam Winders.
I've gone with Mila.
Okay.
And my reasoning for that is if, like you say, Gina does get injured, then Whitney can slide into that, but you've still got Mila that can cover that centre wing attack position. I just think in terms of, if you look at the engine room of that mid-court, Mila's definitely that fifth cog. You don't lose anything with her coming into that. And, we may see that Mila's actually in the 4 and that Maddie Gordon is the reserve. We may see that. Joan,
your backup mid-quarter in the reserves?
Yeah, I'm with Dion there. Mila is definitely, in the forefront of those because she can slip into, those two positions. And I think I've seen her play wing defence before. But, yeah, you wouldn't go there if you're a Nolan, really, when you've got such an abundant amount of defenders like Berger being able to move over. But Kate Heffernan, yeah, I forgot to mention her, how she shuts down Watson as well. So, yeah, Mila would be my reserve mid-quarter because, as you say, Peta has really only got one position. I haven't seen her at centre at all.
Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of Kate Heffernan and how amazing she is. I think she could be one of the players of the tournament in South Africa. She's just incredible. Okay, defensive reserve. I've gone with Sulu Fitzpatrick. Leadership off the court, being in that whole environment would be great for the rest of the team. And, if something happened to Jane Watson or Kelly Jury, she should probably be the obvious person. Dion, who have you gone with?
I've gone with Michaela Sokolic-Beatson. And my reasoning for that is a friend of mine that I coach with, she has this term called scrappy do, which is your person that just can really work hard, is a massive communicator on court. She would be my person that, if you look at all the slides that can happen in this team, if one of those defenders got injured, we've still got 3 circle defenders, right? And you could just slide her into that position of wing defence. And a lot of international players don't know a lot about her. I just think that should cause them a bit of stress on the court just because of the way she plays.
Yeah, she's great. Joan, who have you gone with?
Ali Timu. I really like where you've gone with Sulu Fitzpatrick, and she is, what she does off the court, and she would be fantastic for that whole campaign. But I think Ali Timu has come out really as, an amazing defender that could just slide in there too. And then you just switch Karen Berger over.